It's now my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to all of you our keynote speaker for this evening. And our keynote speaker is Tanuja Dehne from the class of '93. Ms. Dehne is currently the president and CEO of the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation. She is leading the foundation's transformation to become an anti-racist organization and racial justice funder. Tanuja also serves on public company boards and large nonprofits. Prior to this role, Tanuja was a C-suite executive in a Fortune 200 energy company, building upon a career as a corporate attorney. At Lafayette, she majored in international affairs and anthropology and sociology, was a member of the crew team, a sorority, served as an RA, and volunteered as a prison tutor. Tanuja is a current member of our board of trustees here at the college. She is also married to a Lafayette alum and has 5 children. So with that, Tanuja, thank you for being here this evening, and I will turn it over to you to spend some time with the students. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Mike. I'm having a little chuckle over here because I'm like, okay, I'm done. Thank you for that. That was very nice of you. Hi, everybody. I'm Tanuja Dehne. It is so great to be here. And thank you all, sophomores, for showing up. That's half the battle, really. You're here. It's 7 o'clock. And so I'm so grateful that you're sharing your time with us. And I'm so happy to be back. As Mike said, I'm Tanuja Dehne, class of 1993. I'm a trustee. My pronouns are she and hers, and I wear a lot of hats. I wear a lot of hats that I just never dreamed I'd ever wear. 30 years ago, as I was on campus at Lafayette, I am a mother of 5. I'm married to a Lafayette alum. My oldest is a sophomore. And so I can't emphasize to you how much I appreciate that you showed up and you're here taking your time and willing to listen to me and my stories, because I'll be honest, I'm not sure my son would actually want to hear my stories anymore. So thank you for that. I'm a lawyer. I am a CEO. I'm a volunteer, an advocate, an ally, a co-conspirator, an infiltrator. I'm also a yoga teacher, and I meditate daily. So before we jump in, I have an invitation for you just to come along with me to just center today, because it's 7. I've had a really long day, and it's really important that we arrive, and that we arrive centered and we're ready to receive and to take and give and be here now. So just an invitation, not an obligation, just to come with me for 3 cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you can go off screen, stay on screen, whatever you're comfortable with. So just join me. I'm going to close down my eyes, and feel free to laugh at me all you want, but I'm going to start. So a deep inhale through the nose and sigh it out. One more time. Inhale through the nose and sigh it out. And the last time, inhale through the nose and let it out. And before you open your eyes, just kind of notice how you're feeling. Maybe a little different than you were 3 best breaths before, or the same. In any event, thank you for indulging me to center. So I was just so delighted to take the call and to join you all here today to share some stories about my career and the lessons that I brought with me from Lafayette. Some of these stories you might be a little surprised about. There's these moments of, when you take chances and risks in your life, in your career, those are kind of the uncomfortable, itchy moments of discomfort. And when you're experiencing them, sometimes you just don't even realize just what opportunities they are for growth. So I'm going to share some of these with you. You might be a little surprised by them. But the story that I think might resonate with all of you is because it happened right after I graduated from Lafayette College. So I was 22 years old, and I call it my world is falling apart. What am I going to do now? So I had a really great career at Lafayette. I was nurtured in a wonderful environment. Professors and who are my mentors, they still are, built some really strong relationships. I had the opportunity to try and practice so many new things. Those are my two big themes and takeaways today about building strong relationships and trying new things and building some muscle around, expanding your world. And Lafayette really gave me the opportunity to really experiment in that way. As Mike said, I was on the crew team. I can't tell you how many times I go back to the analogy of being a crew coxswain and making sure we're all rowing in the same direction. I think I bring that up probably once a week. And so this first story is really, having really done very well at Lafayette. And I forgot to mention, I'm a faculty brat. So my father was a professor at Lafayette. He's retired now for almost 40 years. My mom worked on campus for almost 40 years in the Child Care Center. I'm married to a Lafayette alum, and I have 3 siblings. 2 of them are also Lafayette alum. So I grew up on this campus, and it's very much home, and I have a lot of deep roots here. And so I had a really beautiful family life on campus. And so my senior year, I did very well. I applied to graduate school, and I said, I'm going to be a professor because that's what I know. And I got into some amazing doctorate programs. I got into some schools where they gave me really great scholarship packages. And then I got into an Ivy League with no money. And I was like, I am doing that because for all the reasons that were really important to me at the time. Wow, an Ivy League accepted me. That's really cool. It's a brass ring. I'm going to take it. And I have no idea what no money means, except for I'll deal with that later. And I'm going to be a professor, and I'm going to get my PhD, and I'm going to move to the big city. And I did all those things, and I got there, and I was like, whoa, what is happening? I was certainly academically ready for it, but I was certainly not socially or emotionally ready to be on my own. And I just shared, this is my story. These are my facts and circumstances. But I'm sitting around a table of folks who just seemed really old to me. They were 30 and really committed and passionate about their calling to academy. And I had even no idea what that meant. It was something that I was like, I know professors. My father's a professor. I'm married to a professor. I wasn't at the time, but that's what I thought. And I had some sort of image in my mind of what I wanted to do. And so I got there and I was like, wow, this is not making my heart sing. This is really rough. And I just had this crisis of like, what am I going to do? And so I went back home to Lafayette, and I sought out my mentors and my professors who were the ones who recommended me for graduate school, and my family, my parents. These are my kitchen cabinet of people who have the best interest in me and best interest for me in my heart. And they advised me and guided me to make probably one of the most important decisions of my life at that time, which was to step away from this program. So I made that decision, and I was emotionally devastated. I had so much shame and guilt, and for why? Because I just, I had this whole image of what I was supposed to do in my life. I really couldn't wallow in that for too long because I had to pay the bills. So I was in that program for 2 years. I got my master's degree, and while I was doing that, I had to make ends meet. So I worked. There's the original gig economy. I had 5 different jobs all over Philadelphia, doing everything I could to pay the rent, and did some soul searching, and actually built some really great relationships there that helped guide me into my next step, which was to apply to law school. this was such a formative, important, foundational moment in my life, because while it was so hard for me to make the decision to step away, it was not in my nature to do something like that. It really gave me the opportunity to grow myself, grow up, mature, really see what it was like to live on my own, and then make a true commitment and an informed decision on what my next step was going to be, and then apply to law school. It was important to me. Like, I didn't really appreciate what the financial situation was when I went to my first graduate experience. Now I was making informed decisions to apply to schools that would offer me scholarships. I worked through law school. I treated law school as a full-time job. I studied 8 hours a day like a full-time job. I played hard as well. I found some balance and like was able to succeed on my terms when I was ready. So, you know, the big lesson for me, though, is just this incredible network and scaffolding that I had from Lafayette to be able to go home, to come home, and to, you know, really seek out the advice and guidance of people who truly cared about me. So I really encourage you to build those relationships with your professors, your friends, your faculty, your staff, all the folks around here who really have your best interests at heart. So fast forward, fast forward almost 20 years. And so I'm now like married. I have 5 kids. I had a really good career as a lawyer, and I was starting to crave something else. Like, what's next for me? You know, I have a parallel career path where I was serving on not-for-profit boards and volunteering in my community. And, you know, something was missing, this calling, this purpose. And it really first manifested itself in, I want to lead. I really want to lead a team. I want to really, experience nurturing talent and have that opportunity to take that step. And so I had opportunities to make decisions to move from the law into the business. Again, I never dreamed I would have done that. Became the Chief Human Resources Officer of a Fortune 200 company, and started to nurture this passion and commitment that I had for people and cultivating talent and really nurturing and developing other individuals. And so I was really had a great career at a big company as a C-suite executive, the only woman in the C-suite, and at a company that was really doing something that was so important to me. And that was making a positive impact in future generations, my children, my grandchildren, and that was the clean energy future. And I had found this kind of purpose, this calling. And there was this moment in time that we were on a roll around this clean energy future in the renewable energy sector, but we were a little early and the markets weren't aligning. And so my company was moving in a different direction. And I made another huge decision in my life to step away, a values-driven decision to move into a different direction. And this was a moment in time now, you know, I've got 5 kids, a husband, the primary breadwinner. I'm on a career trajectory, you know, to be a CEO of a big public company, and knew, you know, I call this story, I know what needs to be done, but what's next? Knew that it was time to move on, and did so and made the decision in collaboration, in consultation with my employer to collaborate on the most graceful and collaborative transition possible, because I absolutely admired my employer and wanted them to be successful. They were just going to be successful without me. And so we parted ways extremely amicably. And it's just another example of how important it is to build relationships and strengthen those bridges through your entire career. And so then I'm at this point in my life now. Now what? What do I do now? I just stepped off this career trajectory and I didn't even dream that I would be all those things that got me to where I was. And I had this another soul searching moment. I knew I did the right thing for me and my family. I just wasn't sure what I was going to do next. And I entered the gig economy for the second time in my life, where I did a lot of different things, experimented, built, new networks and new communities. That's where I became a certified yoga instructor. Can guarantee you that I would never dream that one when I was at Lafayette. But I always say is that, the stars kind of align when you start to marry kind of your passions with your values and your principles. And, what I learned from Lafayette in that regard was this ability to practice and try and experiment lots of different things and to flex those muscles of practicing and taking some of these risks and, joining different clubs, saying I like this or not doing this. I mean, I was a prison tutor volunteer, which was one of the most interesting and fascinating experiences at Lafayette. And it's not because I'm still a prison tutor volunteer. I'm not. But what it really did was really start to flex these muscles of lifelong learning, which are so really critical that you take with you and give you some courage to kind of try. Did I know that I was going to be a yoga teacher? Absolutely not. Do I incorporate yoga in everything I do now? I absolutely do, especially in this time. So then the stars align, which brings me to the place where I am now. Again, another role that I would never have dreamed of. But this role is really me answering a call, a higher calling, to be the president and CEO of an organization in transformation, to become an anti-racist organization and a racial justice funder. I didn't grow up in philanthropy. I did not grow up in this work. I'm actually new to it. But these are the times where you take all those experiences, the operational, the leadership, the team building, bringing the best out of the experts around you so that you can do a big thing that's bigger than all of us. And so I'm going to just wrap up and say that I never would have dreamed 30 years ago that I would have worn all of these hats. But I probably wouldn't have worn all those hats and had the opportunities if I didn't build strong relationships, build strong bridges, tried a lot of different things, experimented, took some risks, and took advantage of that in a very safe place that was Lafayette for me, and then taking that with me. So I hope that's helpful for you. I'm here to answer any questions you have. I know we have a long agenda ahead of us, and I'm so looking forward to spending some time with you in these breakout groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanuja.